Multiple blasts echoed through the streets of Beirut as Israeli airstrikes targeted what military officials described as Hezbollah's central command. This latest wave of attacks comes amid escalating tensions between Israel and the Lebanese militant group, with Israeli forces reportedly striking over 280 targets associated with Hezbollah across Lebanon. The strikes aim to dismantle the group's operational capabilities, particularly focusing on missile and rocket launch sites. Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi, chief of the Israeli military, stated that these operations are crucial for preparing the ground for a potential ground invasion into Lebanon.
Incredible opportunity to generate high online income. Here, I'll show you payment proofs from some students who are already making significant earnings.
The airstrikes have resulted in significant casualties, with reports indicating that at least 492 people have died, including many civilians. As families flee their homes in search of safety, the humanitarian crisis deepens, drawing international concern. "We have nothing left," lamented one woman amidst the chaos, highlighting the desperation felt by many in the affected areas. The situation has become increasingly dire, with hospitals overwhelmed and basic necessities in short supply. Targeting key command structures. Israeli forces have specifically aimed at dismantling Hezbollah's command structure, including recent strikes that killed high-ranking military leaders within the group. Among those targeted was Muhammad Kabisi, identified as a key commander responsible for missile operations. The Israeli military has justified these strikes as necessary measures to ensure national security and to prevent further attacks from Hezbollah, which has been firing missiles into Israel in solidarity with Hamas. In response to these aggressive actions, Hezbollah has vowed to continue its offensive operations against Israel. The group launched a Qader-1 ballistic missile aimed at what it claimed was a Mossad intelligence facility near Tel Aviv, marking a significant escalation in hostilities. Although the missile was intercepted without causing damage or casualties, it underscores Hezbollah's determination to assert its military capabilities and retaliate against perceived threats. The humanitarian toll. As violence escalates, the humanitarian impact on Lebanese civilians is profound. Emergency services are overwhelmed as families seek refuge from airstrikes, with many displaced individuals arriving at makeshift shelters in Tyre and other cities. The UN has expressed alarm over the rising civilian death toll and called for immediate de-escalation to protect innocent lives caught in the crossfire. Local health officials report that hospitals are struggling to cope with the influx of injured civilians, many of whom are women and children. Half of the displaced people slept in gardens or on beaches without any shelter, stated Hassan Book, head of Tyre's emergency response team. The situation is dire, with basic necessities like food and water becoming increasingly scarce. Humanitarian organizations are working tirelessly to provide assistance but face significant challenges due to ongoing hostilities. International reactions and concerns. The international community has reacted strongly to the escalating violence between Israel and Hezbollah. Calls for restraint have emerged from various global leaders and organizations, urging both sides to prioritize civilian safety and seek diplomatic solutions to end the conflict. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken condemned the violence while calling for an immediate ceasefire to allow humanitarian aid to reach those most affected. The United Nations Security Council has convened emergency meetings to address the situation in Lebanon and explore avenues for de-escalation. However, despite widespread calls for peace, both Israel and Hezbollah appear entrenched in their positions. Israeli officials maintain that their military actions are essential for national security, while Hezbollah continues to assert its right to defend itself against what it describes as Israeli aggression. The broader geopolitical implications. The ongoing conflict carries significant implications not only for Lebanon but also for regional stability as a whole. Analysts warn that an expanded conflict could draw in other regional actors and escalate into a larger confrontation involving Iran or Syria. The complex web of alliances in the Middle East means that any miscalculation could lead to unintended consequences affecting millions. Furthermore, public sentiment within Lebanon is increasingly fraught as citizens grapple with the realities of war once again looming on their doorstep. Many Lebanese families bear scars from previous conflicts and are now faced with uncertainty about their future as military operations intensify. Preparing for potential outcomes. As tensions continue to rise on both sides of the border, military analysts suggest that Israel's preparations for a ground invasion may be aimed at sending a clear message to Hezbollah about its willingness to engage directly if necessary. However, this strategy carries risks. Urban warfare could lead to significant casualties among both combatants and civilians alike. In response to these developments, Hezbollah has ramped up its own military readiness, preparing its fighters for potential ground engagements while continuing its missile strikes against Israeli targets. This escalation creates a precarious situation where both sides are prepared for confrontation but also aware of the devastating consequences such actions could entail. A critical moment for Lebanon. As multiple blasts continue to reverberate through Beirut and surrounding areas, Lebanon finds itself on the brink of a humanitarian disaster. The ongoing conflict poses significant risks not only for those directly affected, but also for regional stability as a whole. Thank you for following this important update on the escalating situation in Lebanon as Israel targets Hezbollah's central command. Stay tuned for more insights as we continue to monitor developments in this critical conflict. Don't forget to subscribe for updates on political events and humanitarian issues. You won't want to miss what happens next in this evolving crisis. Your engagement helps us bring you timely information on critical issues affecting our society today.